Hello everyone. Today I'm back to share with you another chapter in the story of two Sam and Officer Lee. Hope you enjoy the video. Ever since Officer Lee returned, two Sam had become a brighter version of herself. She smiled more, spoke more gently, and every morning she woke up feeling lighter, as if some lingering fog in her mind had finally lifted. That morning, the sun had just peeked over the bamboo trees behind her house. Two Sam tied up her messy hair, put on her favorite old apron, and started her gardening work. As she watered the plants, she hummed a few soft tunes, her voice blending into the clear morning air in a peaceful, tender way. Today, she planned to recycle some old containers to plant more vegetables. Things that seemed like junk suddenly became neat planters in her hands. She loosened the soil, mixed in organic fertilizer, checked the texture carefully, then divided it evenly into each container. When it came time to transplant the seedlings, two Sam bent down, gently placing each one in a straight line. She pressed the soil around the stems as softly as if she were caring for a small child. Just as she was adjusting a row of lettuce, she heard a motorbike stop in front of the gate. Two Sam looked up. Officer Lee was standing there, sleeves rolled up, looking effortlessly handsome. He leaned against his bike and looked at her with that familiar gaze, gentle, calm, and slightly amused by what he was seeing. "Two Sam, you're up early," he said, smiling, his voice a bit hoarse from riding. "Planting vegetables? You look really focused." Two Sam flinched a little, but the corners of her lips lifted on their own. "I'm taking advantage of the cool morning to prep the soil. These containers are old, would be a waste to throw them away, so I'm reusing them." Lee walked through the gate and came closer. He didn't say a word at first. He simply squatted beside her and rolled his sleeves up even higher. "Let me help." Two Sam laughed, amused and unexpectedly happy. "You even know how to garden? You sure?" Lee accepted the spare glove she handed him, grinning. "I don't know, but I can learn. As long as I get to stand next to you." Golden sunlight fell on both of them, one carefully holding the seedlings, the other gently patting soil around them. The scene was so peaceful that even the wind seemed to slow down, not wanting to disturb that quiet beauty. After nearly 30 minutes of arranging the vegetable trays, Officer Lee kept glancing at her with a look he couldn't hide. Content, fond, almost proud. Two Sam grew flustered, but inside, she felt a strange warmth blooming. She never imagined she would one day be gardening with a man. And not just any man, but someone who made her feel safe and steady in such a tender way. As they washed their hands at the backyard faucet, Lee's phone suddenly vibrated. He checked the screen, and the calm look on his face tightened slightly. "Your team called an urgent meeting?" Two Sam asked softly, worry slipping into her tone. Lee nodded. "Yeah, a new case. I have to go right away." He wiped his hands quickly and turned to her. His gaze held both seriousness and affection, as if he didn't want to leave but had no choice. Two Sam bent down to pick up a towel near her feet. "Then go. It's work, I understand." Lee took the towel, then reached out and lightly patted her head. A quick motion, but enough to make her face turn pink. "I'll come back this afternoon to pick you up," he said slowly, voice warm and certain. "I have good news to tell you today. Haven't had time for a while, so come have dinner at my place." Two Sam paused. "What good news?" she asked, eyes wide with curiosity. Lee only smiled mysteriously. "You'll find out this afternoon. I have to go now, be good at home, okay?" With that, he stepped out through the gate. The sound of his motorbike started up, then faded down the narrow alley. Two Sam stood by her newly planted vegetables, her heart fluttering as if pulled by an invisible string. She lifted a hand to her cheek, still tingling where he had patted her moments ago. Dinner at his house. A piece of good news meant just for her. And the way he said, "Be good at home, okay?" made her blush, and somehow softened her heart even more. The breeze blew gently across the fresh seedlings, soft and light, just like her mood at this very moment. expectant, nervous, and sweetly flustered. As evening fell, the soft golden light of the setting sun bathed the entire garden. Sam had just finished watering the newly planted vegetable tubs when she heard the familiar sound of a motorbike stopping at the gate. She turned around. Officer Lee was standing there, holding a brand new cream-colored helmet. "Let's go, my little gardener," he said playfully, though his eyes were so warm it made her heart skip. Sam smiled, locked the door, and walked toward him. Lee placed the helmet on her head himself, fastening the strap slowly, so close that his breath brushed her cheek, sending a tiny shiver through her. When they arrived at Lee's house, the moment Sam stepped inside, she heard an excited voice. "Sam, you're here." Lee's older sister, Oanh, came running from the kitchen, still holding a wooden ladle. She smiled brightly, the kind of warm smile of a woman who had spent her life caring for others. "Oh my goodness, you look so lovely today. Your skin even has a blush. Lee said you've been gardening." Sam blushed, nodding softly. "Yes. I planted a few rows of veggies." "So talented. Come help me in the kitchen. Lee said there's some good news today, so I'm making a few of his favorite dishes." Lee stood there with his arms crossed, watching the two women chatter away like they'd known each other for years. The corners of his lips lifted in quiet satisfaction. He didn't interrupt. He simply observed, and clearly in his eyes was a sense of relief, as if Sam had truly stepped into his world. Sam followed Oanh into the kitchen. The two of them washed vegetables, prepared the fish, and seasoned the dishes together. The atmosphere was so warm that Sam felt like she was standing in the kind of family she had always dreamed of. While slicing onions, Oanh leaned closer and whispered, "So, how far have you and Lee gotten? Are you two planning anything serious?" Sam was so startled she nearly dropped the knife, her face turning bright red. We don't have anything yet, Chi." Oanh laughed softly, teasing but kind. "Nothing yet, but Lee told me to make ginger soup for you. Normal men don't pay attention to tiny details like that." Sam bit her lip, heart pounding. "He really said that?" "He did. And don't worry, I fully support you too. You're kind, gentle, and know how to live well. You're a perfect match for Lee." Hearing that, Sam flushed all the way to her ears, unable to speak. From the living room, Lee quietly watched them. The way Sam tilted her head while smiling at Oanh, the way she got flustered when teased. Everything made him feel like this house, his house, needed her presence. Not just today, but for a long time. He exhaled softly, as if sealing a personal resolve. The aroma of cooking filled the air, and the sound of Oanh and Sam laughing made Officer Lee's quiet home feel unusually warm. Suddenly there was a knock at the door. Oanh looked up, her eyes lighting with excitement. "Duc is here. He said he'd come early to eat with us." Before Sam could react, a tall, broad-shouldered man with a gentle expression stepped inside. Duc, Own's longtime boyfriend, smiled kindly the moment he saw Sam. "So this must be Sam? Own told me a lot about you," Duc said warmly. "Nice to meet you. I also have good news today." Own nudged his arm. "You don't have to rush to tell her." But Duc, shy as he was, couldn't hold back his excitement. He looked at Lee, signaling, "You tell her first." Lee chuckled, stood up from his seat, and leaned against the kitchen doorway watching Sam. "Sam," he began, his voice soft but enthusiastic. "Today's good news isn't mine, it's my sister's." Sam blinked, turning to Own. You have something to celebrate?" Own blushed, smiling with the shy happiness of a young girl. "Duc and we decided to get married, Sam." In that moment the entire kitchen seemed to glow. Overjoyed, Sam forgot she was still holding a ladle and rushed to hug Own tightly. "Wang, congratulations. We're so happy for you." Duc scratched his head, smiling humbly, eyes full of pride. "We've been through a lot, but we finally made it here. We hope you'll support us." Lee walked closer and gently placed a hand on Sam's back, as if sharing the joy with her. "This is the good news I wanted to tell you this morning," he said softly. "My sister deserves happiness." Sam glanced at Lee and saw a warmth in his eyes, a kind of warmth reserved for family. He looked nearly as happy as the couple themselves. The atmosphere instantly grew livelier. Own was so happy she was laughing and wiping her tears at the same time. Diep kept bowing in embarrassment, clearly overwhelmed with emotion. The whole house filled with laughter. Standing among these people, these loving, genuine people, too, Sam suddenly felt something she had longed for all her youth, a real home. That evening felt exactly like a small family gathering where everyone carried their own joy. On the table were all the dishes that Own and too Sam had prepared together. Caramelized pepper fish, sour soup, boiled vegetables with ginger dip, and even Lee's favorite braised pork. As soon as they sat down, Diep lifted his glass of water, his voice bubbling with a happiness he couldn't hide. "Since we have Sam, Lee, and everyone here today, I might as well share the good news properly. Own and I decided we're getting married at the end of this year." Own's face turned red, but her smile was brighter than ever. You don't even let me prepare myself before saying it." Too Sam clapped her hands, delighted. "Oh my gosh, I'm so happy for you both. You finally made it to this day." Lee poured himself a glass of water and nodded proudly. "My sister and Diep went through a lot, but seeing them this happy now, we can finally relax." Diep then began sharing their wedding plans with the pure eagerness of a man truly ready to build a family. "We want to have a small ceremony back in our hometown first, just for relatives. Then a warm gathering here in the city." Own said, "We must invite Sam to sit at the family table." Sam almost dropped her spoon, her face flaring red. "Me? Really? The family table?" Own nodded warmly. "Of course. You're the one Lee cares about most. You're definitely an important guest." Those words touched something soft inside too Sam. She glanced toward Lee. He was looking at her, with eyes so deep and gentle that her heart thudded wildly. He didn't speak. He just gave a small nod as if saying, "Yes, you matter to me." The atmosphere in the house grew even warmer. Diep continued, "We're also planning to buy a small house close to here. The old place is cramped. Own wants to be near Lee and Sam, so she can drop by whenever she feels like it." Sam's chest tightened with emotion. She had never imagined someone would consider her family. The meal continued with laughter, the clinking of dishes, and small everyday stories. But to too Sam, each moment felt precious, like a door opening to a warm new world she had never known. And across the table, Officer Lee continued to watch her quietly, his gaze so tender that every time she looked up, he was already smiling. A simple dinner, yet the beginning of so many beautiful things ahead. Dinner ended in cheerful laughter. When the clock neared 9, too Sam stood up to excuse herself, not wanting to trouble Own with more cleaning. Diep and Own walked her to the door, chatting about the wedding plans. Meanwhile, Lee walked silently behind them, hands in his pockets, eyes instinctively following Sam's every step. Once they reached the yard, Diep grinned. "All right, let Lee take you home. You two be careful on the road." Own chimed in. "Come visit again tomorrow if you're free, Sam." Sam nodded, but before she could say goodbye, Lee gently touched her elbow, his voice low and warm. "Let's go." The night breeze blew softly as the motorbike glided down the small road toward Sam's house. Sitting behind him, her hands clutched the hem of her shirt, too shy to hold on to him like other girls might. But Lee noticed. One hand on the handle, the other reached back and clasped her hand. "Why are you holding your shirt? Hold on to me, it's safer." His voice was low, almost commanding, yet so gentle it melted her. Sam hesitated, but eventually let her small hand rest in his large, warm one. The feeling made her heartbeat stumble. She couldn't speak the entire ride. Lee drove slower than usual, as if wanting this moment to last. When they arrived at her gate, Lee still hadn't let go of her hand. He turned off the engine and looked at her under the soft yellow light of the street lamp. "Sam," he said, as if calling something very important. She looked up, eyes shy. "Yes. Did you enjoy today?" She nodded softly. "Yes. It was very warm." Lee watched her for a moment, then smiled. A gentle, steady, trustworthy smile. "So did I." A small breeze lifted a strand of her hair. Lee reached out to tuck it behind her ear, the motion slow and tender. "Sam," he continued, his voice low, almost careful. "I want you to get used to my family. Own likes you a lot. Duke too." Her eyes widened slightly. "Why do I need to get used to them?" Lee leaned in just a bit, his gaze settling right where her heart was racing. "Because in the future, I want you to appear in my home more often." The simple sentence struck straight to the deepest part of her heart. She froze, unable to speak. Lee didn't rush her. He just stepped half a step closer, lowering his head so their eyes met at the same level. "Go to bed early tonight," he said gently, like speaking to the girl he wanted to protect. "If anything comes up, call me." Sam nodded, her face burning. Lee slowly released her hand reluctantly, then turned to leave. But just as he started the engine, he looked back with one more sentence. "I'll come see your new vegetable garden tomorrow." Then he rode away, leaving two Sams standing at the gate, hand pressed to her chest where her heart was beating wildly beyond control. Tonight she would probably lose sleep because of one man. That afternoon, two Sams stepped into the bridal shop with Own, feeling both excited and nervous. As the glass doors opened, the faint scent of jasmine and the warm golden lighting made the whole place glow with the elegance of dozens of white wedding dresses on display. Two Sam inhaled softly. It was the first time in her life she had ever set foot in a place overflowing with wedding gowns. A staff member quickly approached. "Ms. Own, you're here. All the dresses you booked are ready for fitting. Please follow me." Own turned, gently squeezing Sam's hand. "Sam, sit here for a bit. I'll be out soon. Remember to rate my dress, okay?" "Yes." Sam nodded, but her eyes remained glued to the sparkling gowns around her. There was a delicate square-neck dress, a soft off-shoulder one, a wide princess gown like a white cloud, and another lace dress thin as mist. Each dress was like a dream she had never dared to reach for. For a brief moment, two Sam imagined, if one day she herself could wear a gown like that, she would probably feel beautiful, happy, trembling, and speechless. She reached out and lightly touched the hem of the nearest gown, a gentle ache blooming in her heart, a woman's yearning. When would she ever have such a day? Would someone care enough to place a hand on her back, lift her gown, and guide her step by step? Would it be him? Before she could collect herself, the fitting room curtain opened. Own stepped out, so stunning that Sam instinctively rose to her feet. The wedding dress hugged her graceful curves, the lace overlay soft and shimmering. With every step she took, the skirt rippled like waves. "Own," Sam whispered, eyes sparkling. "You're truly beautiful. Like a bride stepping right out of a fairy tale." Own laughed, spinning once like a gentle breeze. "Really? I was so nervous I almost fainted in there." Sam approached, fixing a slightly crooked corner of lace, her expression tender and sincere. "Duke is going to freeze on the spot when he sees you." Own laughed again, then suddenly sat beside Sam and held her hands. "Sam, when it's your turn to wear a wedding dress, I'll definitely come with you. The two of us will pick the most beautiful, the most perfect one." Sam froze. Her heart tightened. "But I don't know if that day will ever come for me." Her voice was as soft as a breeze. Own looked at her with the eyes of a true older sister. "It will. For someone who truly loves you. And I think that person is already very close." Sam blushed and bowed her head. She knew exactly who Own was talking about, but she didn't dare say it, because she wasn't sure whether dreaming of wearing a wedding dress was too distant, too unrealistic for someone like her. Just then Sam's phone vibrated. On the screen appeared a name, Lee. Her throat tightened instantly. Message: "You're with my sister?" Sam replied, "Yes, I'm at the bridal shop with her." A reply came almost immediately. "Come talk to me after you're done. I have something important about you." Sam froze, her heart pounding so hard she could hear it echo in her ears. Something important? About her? Could it be? Owen noticed Sam's expression and smiled mysteriously. "That face says Lee just sent you something very sweet." Sam held her phone tightly, her cheeks as red as if the setting sun had touched them. She didn't respond, but inside her was rising a fragile, trembling hope, one she had never dared admit. Maybe someday, one of these wedding dresses might belong to her.
Xin chào mọi người, rất vui được gặp lại mọi người trong video hôm nay của mình. Chúc mọi người có một ngày mới vui vẻ và hạnh phúc. Hy vọng rằng những video của mình sẽ mang đến niềm vui cho mọi người. Và hiện tại thì những video của mình đang được phát hành vào khung giờ 7 giờ tối và 7 giờ sáng tại Việt Nam. Thì mọi người nhớ chú ý đón xem để không bỏ lỡ video mới nhất nha. Và câu chuyện hôm nay kể về cô gái Tử Sam và cảnh sát Ni. Sau khi những biến cố thì cảnh sát Ni và Tử Sam đã trở thành một cặp, và hạnh phúc của chị gái cảnh sát Ni là Oanh và cảnh sát Đức cũng đã nên mối nhân duyên và chuẩn bị cho đám cưới. Liệu rằng cuộc sống của những cặp đôi này sẽ như thế nào thì mời mọi người cùng đón xem ở video tiếp theo nha. Cảm ơn mọi người đã xem hết video hôm nay. Xin chào và hẹn gặp lại mọi người ở video lần sau nha.